If you're wondering why you're shooting some guy 6 times in the head and they're not dying, I have the answers for you. The most important thing is the type of ammo you're using, not the actual gun that you're rocking. Today we're going to be building a tier list of all of the available ammo types in ExfilZone and seeing which ones are the best and which ones are absolute dog. Let's start off with our 9x19 caliber. These are things that are going to be going in pistols and some SMGs. And even, doesn't an AUG take a 9mm as well? You know, that's kind of weird, but it's a thing. Let's start with the 9x19 PSO. We've got some stats here that we're going to be looking at alongside every ammo type we look at. We look at the stats. Level 1 arc trader, very cheap per 15. Its base damage is surprisingly high at 65. Now, maybe we should explain a few things here. Let's explain the categories and what they mean. Base damage is going to be the actual damage it does to flesh or an unarmored hit, okay? So if you hit them in the legs, legs are always unarmored. So you'll be doing 65 damage per shot in this case. The next category is penetration, okay? This is the likelihood. The higher the number, the more likely it's going to penetrate higher and higher tiers of armor, okay? Rendering them pretty much useless. Muzzle velocity is going to be how fast the bullet travels. So if you're taking very far shots, very, very far shots, you're going to have to lead your targets more if this muzzle velocity is a lower value, okay? The higher value, the less you're going to have to lead your shots at range. Next is the minimum damage stat. The farther the bullet travel, the more damage drop-off exists on your ammo. So the lowest amount of damage that I can deal at the maximum distance range, it goes as low as 29.25. So when we talk about minimum damage, it's going to be the farther the shot, the lowest it can go damage-wise is going to be that value there. And then we have a bleed chance stat. This is the percent chance that it'll cause a bleed when you hit your target, all right? So the 9x19 PSO, now you may think because the penetration value is so low at 0.9, yes, you're not piercing almost any armor. Even the lowest grade armor is going to stand up somewhat to PSO 9x19 rounds. But if you want to get clever here, this tier list is going to be a bit interesting because you might see some ammo high up rated on the list that you wouldn't expect to be, because there are certain scenarios where it will actually do really well. Now, I want you to imagine loading up a Scorpion with a drum mag and PSO ammo. Now, what are our health stats for different body parts? What, the head's at 35, chat, right? Correct me if I'm wrong anywhere, by the way. The health has 35 HP. The upper torso has 85 HP, if I remember correctly, somewhere around 80, 85. And the legs have about 65 HP. Now, one shot to the leg with PSO at close range is going to instantly black the leg out, and then any subsequent shots that are hitting that same blacked leg will radiate throughout the rest of the body very quickly, okay? It's going to spread the damage out to the rest of the body. That means it's going to take a really short amount of time if you just leg meta, regardless of what armor they're wearing. I don't care how juiced the chat is. If you blast someone in the leg at high rate of fire with PSO rounds, they're going to actually die surprisingly quickly, okay? So early on, if you're starting off and you don't have access to those higher pen ammo types, you'd be surprised if you leg meta how quickly you can kill chads, all right? Now, how many of you guys have actually thought about that in chat? Like, honestly, PSO kind of goated for the base damage. 65 is a ridiculously high amount, okay? And because of that, I'm going to put it in A tier. It is actually crazy good. You just have to leg meta. If you're shooting them in the chest or the head, you're going to have a bad time if they have any sort of armor. Next up is FMJ. We get access to this at level 2, slightly more expensive. And the base damage does drop a bit here. We get a little bit more penetration for it, but honestly, I don't think the trade-off of having a little bit more pen up to 1.6 accounts for the damage drop-off. You're still not going to be penning armor consistently at all, and you're losing the base damage. So FMJ actually goes into, God, I think it goes into the F tier. It might even be D tier. I'll throw it in D tier. Next up is 9x19 PST rounds. So we'll grab those here. And 9x19, you get access to it at level 3 trader. You lose a tiny bit of damage and get a decent amount of boost to penetration up to 2.2. You can see these values here. But still, once again, if you're not pulling into the 4+, 5+ pen value, any sort of chest shots and headshots to decently geared players are going to be really inconsistent. So I don't think it's worth it. You get the damage drop off. Sure, you get a little bit more armor pen, but you're still not going to be penning decently geared players by any means at all. So do not shoot them. If you're rocking this ammo, do not shoot them in the chest or the head. You're going to need to leg meta them. But there's better ammo type for leg meta. So this is just gonna fall into, this goes into F category. PST is. Now we have AP 9x19. It gets close to pushing that 4.0 pen value. But because you can shoot this at a decently high fire rate in most SMGs, it ranks a little bit better, but I still don't think it's very good, chat. 53 base damage. If you're rocking this ammo, you're going to hope to rip through a helmet and get a headshot to instantly kill your opponent. I still don't think you're going to be doing very well chest shotting decently geared players, okay? If someone's rocking tier 6 armor, you know, tier 5 armor, some of the higher end boss gear stuff, I don't think you're going to kill them quick enough before they rip through you with their likely high pen rounds, okay, and high damage rounds. So if you're gonna be rocking this, go for headshots, but even then, it's not that great of a choice at level 4 for high pen ammo. I'll put it in, I think it goes into B category. And I know, shocking, PSO ranked higher than AP ammo. It's just my thoughts. I don't think the pen value is high enough to account for it. It's not as good as you guys might think it is. That is it for our 9x19 ammo. We're gonna move on to 45 ACP. Okay, now 45 ACP does rock a lot higher base damage, but a lot of the guns that shoot 45 ACP also have a slower fire rate. So it's gonna be interesting to rake this against the much faster fire rate of the PSO 9x19 if we're talking about leg meta. We get a little bit more pen for the base at 1.8, but once again, if we're not seeing pen values over 4, penning through good armor is going to be more unlikely than you might think. You could roll god rolls and get pen through, but still, I don't know, man. I really think you should be going over 4.0 pen value if you're hoping to penetrate and do chest shots on higher geared players. So anyways, the 45 ACP, it's going to do great at leg meta. Now, I still think the other PSO is going to be better at it because you have better fire rate for most of the 45 ACP guns. So I'm going to put FMJ in B tier. You can delete players pretty quickly with this high damage value if you're shooting them in the leg. All right? You can. It is possible. We've got 45 ACP. We get a bit of a penetration boost at 2.6, a slight damage drop off. But once again, this is one of those ammos that falls in between of being good flesh damage and good penetration. So these ammo types, in my opinion, are going to be the worst when they fall in the middle here. Because you're not penetrating well still at these low values at 2.6, and you're losing some flesh damage. So L-Match is going into D tier. I don't know. I don't think it's very good. It might even go into F tier. I'd rather have the 75 damage. It's still decent damage. I'll put it in D tier. We have 45 ACP next, our AP rounds, and it's available at level 4. Still doing decent damage at 63, not a massive damage fall off, but we're still just shy of hitting that 4.0 Goldilocks zone and higher for penetration. I don't know, chat. AP, 45 ACP. I'll put it in, it could go into C tier, I guess. It's not great pen, it's decent damage, but I think you're really going to struggle still penetrating any high-end armors, which most people are going to be rocking mid to late wipe only. It's pretty rare, unless it's early wipe, that you're going to see people rocking, you know, tier 4, tier 3, tier 2, tier 1 chest rigs. It's kind of all or nothing in most cases. At least that's been in my experience. Tenvarian, is leg meta just spraying the legs? Yes. It's coming to the understanding that your ammo type is not going to pen most armors. And because of that, you're wasting your time by shooting them in the chest where they're armored. Even the head, if they have a good helmet. You guys have seen many clips of me blasting someone in the head when they have like an Alton or even a Ronin, and I'll hit them like 8 times in the head and they won't die, okay? That is evident that we're wasting our time shooting them in those armored spots. If I had instead put those 8 rounds into a single leg, they would have died. All right, what do we have next, chat? We're moving on to our 12 gauge rounds. These ones might surprise you a little bit. We have 12 gauge rip rounds, okay? And their name implies what they actually do here. They are going to rip flesh off the bone of your target. Now, at an incredible 165 damage, this is a slug, by the way. At 165 damage, that's insane. That's insane. Pretty much 1 or 2 rip slugs to the same leg will absolutely destroy someone. It should be enough to kill them, okay? 165 damage, it's only, what, 65 damage to black the leg, and then you have 100 damage still on that first shot radiating to the rest of the body, okay? And the head only has 35 HP, so it'll radiate through. You might be one-shotting to unarmored parts of the body, okay? If not, at least 2-shotting, even if they're a Chad. It is not a spray, so you're going to need to be really accurate with this leg shot. And the time in between shots are going to be quite large, so missing a single shot out of your, like, 3-shot spray, it might be deadly for you. You're going to need to land at least 2, if not 1 shot, for this to be deadly, which makes it pretty interesting. I'm going to put it high B. It might even be low A. I'm gonna keep it low A for now. It's a crazy round if you want to leg meta people, and it's available at level 2 very early on. Next, we have 7mm buckshot. Now, chat, I don't know. We need to look into this. I need to know how many pellets are actually coming out of a buckshot, because we need to do some math here to calculate. This base damage at 30 is how much a single pellet does, all right? In real life, buckshot is 8 pellets. Okay, so if we bring our trusty calculator here, we're gonna multiply that value by 8 if we hit all of our pellets, okay? So 8 times 30 puts us at 240 damage, okay? If every single one of your pellets hit, you're doing 240 damage. Now, arguably, if you're up close and you're running Metro, 12 gauge buckshot is going to be better at flesh damage if you're leg metaing than your rip slugs, okay? Arguably. So where this is going to fall off is that the farther away your target is range-wise, the less effective these buckshot is going to be, and then the rip slugs start taking a lead, okay, on which is better. So I would say if you're running Metro, buckshot in most cases is going to be much better if you're trying to do shotgun leg meta, all right? That is a lot of damage. You're not going to be penetrating armor, but you are going to be blowing legs off, okay, with a shotgun. This is quite good. Better than you might think. I almost think this goes in A tier as well for leg meta. A lot of you guys are going to be confused at these being high up unless you've been watching from the beginning. But there's going to be a difference. We're going to be combining penetration rounds and leg meta rounds. They're both going to be on this list respectively. This is not a tier list based off of which round penetrates better, okay? This is a very unique ammo tier list where we change the situation and we show where some of this weird lower end ammo can really shine in specific situations, whether it's leg meta or if it's just going straight for chest or headshots. All right, for buckshot, now we're moving on to 12 gauge flechette rounds. Now flechette rounds are known for their higher penetration value, okay? So we're getting close to that Goldilocks zone of 4.0 or higher for good pen chance. This is gonna pen most armors, but you're gonna see a pretty large fall off when you get to your high-end boss armors, etc. Our highest tier armors you're not gonna pen as consistently as you'd want to here. All right, so because of that, and we get a pretty massive, almost a 50% drop off in damage comparing the two rounds. I don't know. I think flechettes, they might go in D or C tier because of it. It's one of those weird in-between rounds. Or I don't see myself using this much, so I'm actually gonna throw it in high D tier for that reason. But now we're moving on to the AP 20 slugs, okay, 12 gauge. Level 3 required to get your hands on these. They're decently expensive, not too bad, 11 grand per 15. Available at level 4. They still boast a massive amount of damage for a slug, 120, and you're almost at that 4.0. So if you're pumping slugs quick enough, one should go through the chest eventually, but you're kind of rolling the dice at this point, okay? And you're hoping that you roll a decent roll, the ammo penetrates, and you get a massive 120 damage dealt to the chest, or at least 65 damage. 85 to the upper torso for an insta-kill. We need to be doing 85 damage. Yeah, I'm right about that. The torso being 85 damage, right? Before I just keep spouting off. If you do exactly 85 damage to the torso and it blacks the upper torso, it is an insta-kill, chat. That's all you need damage-wise. But even then, shooting them in the legs is not a bad idea with this round. But it's got the higher pen, so it's pretty good. I'll put it in... If you're penetrating, you're pretty much going to be insta-killing people. It's either high B or low A. Hard choice. I don't know if it's penning as often as I'd like to put it up in A. I think I'm gonna leave it at high B for now. I think I'm gonna keep it at high B for now. Skill says I can't wait for everyone to start just running shitty armor and leg meta because of this video. Yeah.
If you don't S tier this right now, you have not used it enough.
I don't know if it pens enough. Chief, have you put this? I don't think it pens enough. Reshot Metro Boss to what? The head, though? Hey, but that should be a good example. Bosses have a lot higher health pools. Hold on, wait. That's actually a perfect example.
You just said this list wasn't just about penetration.
Agreed. So if bosses have even more HP on each of their limbs, okay? And they have an Alton. So if you're having to 3-tap someone to the head with an Alton, I think in most I don't know, man. I don't think it's S tier. Because you can one-shot the boss to the head if you have a high enough pen and damage round. Which means the armor is blocking this a lot. I don't know. I'm thinking I'll put it low A. We're moving on to 5.45 rounds, okay? A lot of AKs use 5.45. We're starting off with PRS, okay? Dog water penetration at 1.3. 70 base damage though, which is quite high. If we look at some of the other values, we have 65 base damage on the 9mm. So we are getting into our first couple rifle rounds, but we can take a quick look at a glance. 73 base damage for 5.56. So it's gonna be the lowest base damage out of all the rifle rounds, but still incredibly high, incredibly high. So if you're stuck and you picked up a scav gun that's got PRS rounds in it, and you run into a juiced player, you can actually kill them decently easily if you leg meta them. If you're shooting them in the chest, it's not gonna go well. I don't know, I'm starting to think some of these base guns, we're finding out via stats that some of the base ammo is actually not bad if you just use it properly. I don't know, at 70 damage? Fire rate's a little bit slower than PSO, so I still think PSO should be in a higher tier. I'm thinking we put it in B tier for now. It's not as bad as you might think. The next round up, we got FMJ available at level 2. A significant drop, almost a 25% drop in damage for not much extra pen value. This is one of those in-between rounds that I don't think has much use case. You're better off if you're going leg meta to pick the highest flesh damage round than have a weird kind of shitty combination of I do a bit of damage and I penetrate kinda, but not really in most cases. These in-between rounds are just going to be bad all around. So FNJ, dude, I think it goes in F tier. I'm putting it in F tier. Next we have PP rounds. A little bit of a drop in damage for a decent boost in penetration. But still, we're far away from that. We're getting close, but far from that 4.0 or higher Goldilocks zone of being able to stand up to other large ammoed armored targets. Holy shit. So for here, it's starting to get into the viable range of penetration. Available at level 3. I'll put it in, I think it's probably around C tier. It might go up to low B later on, but it's definitely not a terrible round. But up next, we have the 7N40s. Now, this is when we start breaching that 4.0 pen value. We're going to be penetrating most, if not all armors decently consistently, okay, once we start breaking 4.0. Decent flesh damage at 51. This is a good round, chat. This is a good round. 7N40s are going to be your, your level 4, your highest rounds that you can buy with cash for your 5.45 without having to do a barter trade. We'll talk about that next barter trade ammo later. So I'm thinking 7N40s. think they go high B, chat. 'Cause coming up on some of these other rifles, there's just other rounds that are gonna outperform the 7N40. So I think high B is good. High B is good. Next we have our rounds that can only be obtained by a barter trade. You're gonna need a floppy disk to get 15 of these bad boys. This is our BS ammo. Still decent flesh damage at 45, but we're breaching to a large degree the 5.0 value for armor penetration. This is going to pierce pretty much all armors decently consistently, okay? And retaining a lot of that bullet damage through the pierce. So BS ammo is very good. It's probably going to go in high A tier for now. That might change to S tier later as we look at the other rifle rounds. That's it for our 5.45s. It's time to move on to the 5.56 ammo, chat. We've got our MK 255s at our lowest rated ammo available at level trader level 1. It's doing 73 flesh damage, which is quite high. So once again, a round that will do really, really good in leg meta. If you happen to pick it off of a scav, or you're still just running low-end gear, make sure you go for the legs, and it's gonna shred a target. My guess is it's only gonna take about 3, maybe 4 shots to the same leg to kill a target. It could be as low as 2 shots, but on average, it should be about 3 to 4 shots to the same leg. Remember, it has to be the same leg. If you're spreading these shots between both legs, you're gonna get some drop off and kill time because it has to black that other leg first before the damage starts radiating through a blacked limb. All right, so it's pretty damn good if you're leg metaing, chat. I'm putting this at low A tier for leg meta because of the high flesh damage. 73 is a lot, chat. 73 is a lot. One of those shots will black a limb. Okay, that's unarmored. That's crazy. It's a lot of damage. Next up, we have the FMJ rounds for 5.56. Once again, this is one of those in-between rounds where you get a little bit of extra pen, but nothing to really be decent, and you lose a lot of that flesh damage right off the bat from this low tier to this level 2 tier ammo. So it's dog shit. FMJ is so it's bad. It goes in F tier in comparison to all the other 5.56. Now we get a little bit of extra pen to level 3. The 318s, they're gonna penetrate most average armors, okay? But once you start getting into the higher end armors, you're gonna notice a huge damage drop off. Using these rounds. So it's all right. It's gonna give you a little bit of penetration. It goes to C tier underneath PP rounds. We have the M995s next. This is where we get a pretty large boost. We're over that 4.0 value, getting close to 5.0 pen value here, which is very, very good. 43 base damage is quite low, but the fire rate of 5.56 rifles tends to be on the higher end if you're up close, so you can get a lot of damage out pretty quickly and kill your targets pretty quick with these rounds. M995s are great, available at level 4 via cash. They're probably A tier. Let's go right underneath BS rounds. I think that's a good spot for them. Then we have AP 5.56, the highest of our 5.56 ammo. It's going to require a hard drive as a barter trade to get access to. Decent drop off on damage at 39. So take that into consideration. That chest, the upper torso to black it out, you need to do 85 damage. So it's going to take you at least 3 shots to the upper chest to kill a target. Now, with the head being at 35, you are instantly going to kill somebody with a headshot of these. But, you know, we'll see what it is. You don't really need tier list for Tabor ammo. It's straightforward, dude. Yeah, there's only 3 types of ammo for Tabor. But I know the boss is trolling, so yeah. I know you gotta run tracer rounds. Tracer rounds S tier in Tabor all day long, brother. S tier. Nice job on the boss kill. Alright. AP, huh? We get 5.8 pen, getting close to that 6.0 mark. This is very high. You're gonna consistently pen most armors here, even the high-end armors. You'll see later on that we have some insane 6.8 and higher than 6 ammo type. So there is better and more consistent pen for those really juicy geared players. But regardless, this is gonna pen most of the time, all right? But at 39 damage, it's a bit low, chat. It's a bit low, and then damage drop off over time. If you're shooting targets from very far, you're doing 28 damage on the low end after calculating damage drop off at range and, you know, armors lowering the damage as it breaks through. So it might not be as good as you guys think. At 28 damage on the low end, let's just round it up to 30. 369, you're still gonna have to hit him 3 times to the upper chest with no interruptions to get a kill here. Now that bullets are flying quickly, but if you're firing single shots off at range, just remember that, okay? Remember you're gonna need a decent amount of shots to the upper chest, and that's if you hit the upper chest every time. If you're hitting, you know, the stomach, if you're hitting legs here and there, that's spreading the damage out, lowering the time to kill pretty significantly because of that low damage on the round. So AP, it'll shine a lot better up close. I think at distance, if you're sniping with 5.56, you're gonna feel a lot of damage drop off. So, oh my god. I think it just stays in A tier. That low flesh damage is rough. We're gonna go... It's gonna go right there. Go right there. Okay, chat. We're moving on to 7.62 rounds. So we've got our 7.62 by 39 SP rounds. These are our soft point rounds that I complain about all the time, but at 72 base damage, it's still decent for leg meta. So now I wouldn't specifically bring this ammo type in for leg meta. There's other ammo types that are going to do it much better, specifically the PSO rounds or your buckshot. But it's still, if you find it off of a scav and it's the only gun you're using, you'll still be able to destroy a leg if you need to. Just know that the fire rate of these guns is typically a lot slower for 7.62 rounds, so your time to kill does go up because of that. There are better ammo types for leg meta. So for that, you know, I'll throw it in a C tier for leg meta. It'll get the job done, but there are better ammo types for it, for sure. Next up is FMJ. It's one of those weird in-between rounds. We see a decent damage drop-off. Okay pen, but we're still far away from that 4.0 or higher. These are pretty bad. FMJ. FMJ. Chat, which one are they? They all look the fucking same. For these. FMJ's going in F tier. It's bad. It's bad, chat. Now PS. These are available at level 3 here. We've got 64 damage, an actual uptick in flesh damage, which we haven't seen in any of the other categories so far. Plus, we get a little bit of extra pen. Still, you're going to be struggling killing geared players like Chad's with this ammo type, especially if they're rocking good ammo. They're going to kill you before you kill them in most cases. So it's not bad. I'll put it in, it can go in C tier. It's not terrible, it's not great. We'll go high C tier for that one. Next up is BP rounds, level 4 trader needed. 57 damage, still very high flesh damage here. In comparison to the 43 damage on the equivalent 5.56 round, and 51 damage for the equivalent 5.45. So pretty good damage there. Really good pen at 4.5, and you can buy these with cash. So,
Are you doing the shook therapy later today, Elma?
Shook therapy? What does that mean? I'm gonna let you guys think about what that means, and I'm gonna think about what it means, and I'm gonna go pee. And also, while I was peeing, I had a revelation. PSO is S tier. 9 mil. Cry about it. Cry about it. I thought about it. Nothing's in S tier. I think PSO rounds go S tier for leg meta. They're insane. All right, chat. Let's pick up where we left off. Okay. We got our AP 762 by 39. All right. This is available at the price of 2 cassette tapes. You're gonna need trader level 4 for that. And good flesh damage still, because these are higher caliber rounds, at 52, and insane penetration at 5.8, getting us to the closest round, along with the 5.56, to that 6.0 pen mark. So you're gonna be penning chads with this ammo, more likely than not. Now let's compare these two though. The AP equivalent of 5.45 is doing 39 flesh damage. The AP equivalent of 7.62 by 39 is doing 52. That is a significant, like 30 to 40-ish% increase in damage. These rounds really outshine the 5.56 equivalent for that reason at the same pen value. So your 7.62 39 AP is incredibly better than the AP equivalent for 5.56. Gosh, I almost think... Where's BS? I'm gonna make some adjustments on the tier list. 5.645 base damage. But I almost think these... Which is kind of crazy. I think I'm moving the AP and M995 5.56s down to high B. BS is low A. That might be crazy, but I think they fit better there. They just have such lower flesh damage, chat. There's better rounds that you could take in. Okay, we'll see if things move around a bit as we continue to go through these. We got our next caliber of rounds. It's gonna be our 7.62 by 51. These rounds are beef cakes, chat. They are massive rounds. The second largest, I believe, rounds in the game. So we start off with the soft point rounds, SP, available at level 1, doing an incredible 89 damage. That's insta-blacking any limbs. If they have no chest armor, it is one-shotting to the chest, okay? I know it's very unlikely that you're gonna chest shot anyone with this, and still boasting 2.7 penetration at level 1. These rounds are beefy, they're doing a lot of damage. You can leg meta with them as well. I think there are better rounds for it still, because you want a lot of speed when it comes to leg meta and high damage. And as much as you can pull the trigger pretty quick, you're gonna see a lot of kick on most of the guns that are rocking the 7.6251, making it a little bit harder to hit those thin unarmored legs. Still crazy damage on it though. So 7.62 51 SP rounds. I think they're gonna go. I'll put them in C for leg meta. You're literally blowing off a limb with it. And you're probably going to be 2 to 3 shotting somebody in the leg with it.
Hey Can,
Not
how's
terrible.
the neck feeling today?
It's still screwed up. I'm a sentry turret, turning like this. I can't really turn my neck. It'll get better in time, though. I just gotta give it a couple more days. Alright, up next, we got FMJ. We lose a little bit of damage for a little bit more penetration. FMJ is still getting close to that 4.0, and we're only on the 2nd tier of ammo in this category. It's decent. It's pretty decent. I would put this in C tier as well. FMJ... Which one is it? I'll leave this one. We'll put it in C tier. We have our M80s next, which breach that number that we're looking for, which is 4.0 pen. So we can start trading with Chads and really high-end armor with this value pretty consistently. Doing 79 damage to the chest. That's 2 shotting to the chest. And the damage drop-off is not too bad when you start getting at range. With these values at 59 here. Still doing 59 damage on the lowest. This is the minimum amount of damage it can do at bullet drop-off, as well as after armor gets penetrated. So it's still really high, which means you're always 2-shotting to the chest if the round penetrates, which is pretty insane. It's pretty insane. Those are very good rounds. M80s hit like a truck. They pen pretty consistently. I think they definitely go... I think they go high B. I think they're actually better than AP and M995s. Because of the flesh damage and the bullet drop-off. Maybe not. Maybe slightly under. Slightly under AP, but 5.56, but above M995s. For sure. Next is the M61s. M61s, they're still boasting really high above 70 damage, 72, available at level 4. They're doing 5.3 for pen, really high, nice number. So you're still 2-shotting to the chest or 1-shotting to the head with these rounds. Even at max range, chat. Even at max range, you're 2-shotting to the upper torso. At that 50 damage for the max drop-off. These rounds are moving incredibly fast, too. You can go back and look at these, but this number here in this column is how the velocity of the rounds, so you don't have to lead your target as much as you would need to with your sniping with these. An amazing sniper round. Amazing sniper round. And can still be used up close very effectively, too. This is a great round. M61s, definitely going A tier. If we compare them to the AP, 5.8, 52 damage, 40 damage drop off. You're gonna have to 3-shot to the chest at max range. They might even be better, chat, than AP 7.6239 rounds. That's how good these M61s are, in my opinion. I'm gonna put them there. Next. What do we have here, chat? We got 7.6251 M993s. These are insane rounds. They will always 2-shot to the chest, even at max range, and they're pretty much going to penetrate every single time unless you get really, really unlucky. So even against a Chad, what this means is you're pretty much guaranteed to 2-shot anyone to the chest and headshot insta-kill in 1 shot. These are insane rounds. You can get them for 2 hard drives. We're putting the M993s. I think they go in S tier. They're insane. They're very, very good. And that brings us to the end of the 7.6251 category. We're moving on to the 6.8 by 51. It's a very odd round with only 2 different types that we have to select from. We got the FMJ and the hybrid. They are available at level 2 for the FMJ. Pretty high flesh damage at 80. Penetration leaves a lot to be desired at 3.4. It's pretty low. It's all right. It would do really good at leg meta, but who's buying this gun and using it for leg meta? It's an expensive gun. There are better options to leg meta with that don't cost nearly as much, which is another reason why you guys might be looking at this PSO roundup here and thinking this is ridiculous in S tier. The price to put a PSO leg meta kit together that will even kill Chads very quickly is so incredibly low. You can budget kit this all day and destroy people with it if you're accurate with the leg shots. It's so cheap, it does so much damage, and it's got such a high fire rate and a lot of the guns you have available for it. It deserves to be an S tier, okay? Now, for these FMJ rounds, I'll put them in, I think they're high C. They're all right. Yeah, they're doing a lot of damage, maybe low B. They're okay. They're okay. But if you're rocking a gun that takes 6.8 by 51, you definitely want to be rocking the hybrid rounds available at level 4. Really high base damage, super high fire rate on this gun, and we're breaching that mid 4.5 penetration. So you're penetrating most of the time against Chads. It's a good round. It's a good round. Hybrids will shred. And the high fire rate, if you're hitting your target, is good. The one big downside with this round is that I think 20 rounds is your highest capacity for a mag. So even though you're shooting really fast, it's incredibly punishing if you're missing. If you miss any of those shots, you're not gonna be able, you're gonna have to mag swap, and you're pretty much dead if you have to mag swap in a firefight if you're out in the open. So I'm gonna say I'm gonna say high B for this round. It's good. There's just a lot of better options in my opinion, especially when you start taking mag capacity into consideration. It's pretty good. B is good, chat. B by no means is bad. Okay, we're getting close to the end. We're in our last category here, chat. 7.6254R, the largest caliber rounds in the game, and we really should see our damage numbers showing that off, and our penetration values showing that off as well. So we have 7.6254R. These are the HP rounds. HP probably stands for hollow point, which means they are going to shred flesh, okay, unarmored targets. Even still with a 2.1 base pen value at the worst rounds available. This is going to one-shot and black any limb that you hit that's unarmored. It will probably... Chat, this is probably a 2-shot kill to the same leg or arm, alright? Which is pretty insane. That's very good. I still wouldn't be bringing this into leg meta too often, but it has that capability. I think it goes low B because of that reason. You can 2-shot if you're hitting them in the leg. That's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. Now, it is true that you can load these rounds into an LMG PKP. The LMG has a lot of kick though, so hitting people in the leg with it at fully auto, while possible, is going to be a lot harder than doing it with like PSO rounds. So for that reason, it still can leg meta, but these rounds really shine with their high damage and high pen in the later ones. So HP low B. FMJ rounds, this is another one of those weird mid style rounds where it does good damage. It does okay pen, but there's just better rounds out there. So, I think it goes, yeah. I'll put it high C. It's not terrible. It's not fantastic. We're moving on to the LPS ones, available at level 3. Still really good damage at 84. 3.9 pen, really close to that 4.0. You're still going to pen pretty often with this round, even at the highest tier armors. But there's just better ammos that we can get access to later on, as we're going to see here. So it's decent. LPS, it's still a hell of a round. Probably high C, low B. I'll put it low B. It's quite good, chat. Then we have the PS rounds for the 7.6254R. These are doing 81 damage and 4.7 pen. You're gonna penetrate most things consistently with this round. And even if the armor is blocking most of the damage, the lowest damage value that you can hope to get out of a round that penetrates is still gonna be 52.6 damage. That's two-shotting anything to the upper chest. Very good sniper round. Very good up-close round too, with the LMG pumping out a ton of rounds, that PKP. You're going to kill people very quickly, even if you are going for chest shots with this round, with the high damage and high pen. It's pretty much 2 shots to the chest in most cases. So I think that goes A tier. Pretty high A tier. It's a great round. Very great round. And you can throw this into sniper rifles as well and do really, really good. Next is the SNB, our last round, chat. Available by a barter trade for 1 gun oil at trader level 4. Still doing an incredible amount of damage at 72. Which is bringing us to our 2 shot to the upper chest or 1 shot to the head category. 6.2 pen, which is almost unheard of, except for our 7.6251 at 6.8. And it's doing an incredible amount of damage. This is really, really, really good round. You're pretty much going to pen every shot regardless of what ammo type you have, or armor type your enemy has, which means I think it goes into S tier easily. 2 shots to the chest with SNBs. Use it with a sniper rifle, use it with a PKP. You're going to have a good time with this round. I think that's it. Do I want to move anything, chat? I don't think so. I like that S tier is small. I like that there's a lot of options for A tier. If you're looking for something slightly below S tier, I like that there's a lot of good options for B tier, and then we have our C, D, and F tiers. I think it's pretty good. A lot of talk about moving AP20 slugs to S tier. I'll take a second glance at it. It is an incredible amount of damage. It will 1-shot to the chest if it pens, but you're not guaranteed to pen. And even if you do pen with decent armor, it can drop the damage as low as 48, bringing us to that 2-shot if we pen to the upper chest. I don't know. I think it's fine where it is, chat. If it had higher pen value, I would consider moving it up, but it doesn't, and the damage drop off when it does pen is quite large at higher armor types. It's not going S tier. Chat, the blunt damage is 520. Or sorry, it's 48 at the most for blunt damage. It's not as high as you might think. This is pretty much the blunt damage. 48. I mean, we can dig a little bit deeper into this. Muzzle velocity. Yeah, blunt multiplier is only 0.15. Guys, I think you guys are smoking huge amounts of copium here. It's a good round. A tier is great. That's amazing. It is not an S tier round. It's not, chat. It's not. There are better rounds out there. I know it's great in the flame. There's better options. Yeah, it's below PSO. Guys, do I need to re-explain this? Okay, let's look at this real quick. Okay, let's look at the, what's the highest fire rate? Hold on. Hold on, guys. Do I need to get into the weeds and do I need to defend this S tier pick? All right, let's do some math here, chat. We got rifles. Where are my SMGs? SMGs? Okay. We're gonna sort it by... Is fire rate not on here? Oh man, guys, you gotta make the wiki better. Where's our fire rate? Chat, fire rate's not on here, but I'm pretty sure the Scorpion is the highest fire rate out of all the 9x19. I'm pretty sure. Chat, what's the fire rate? Oh man. Someone get in game right now and scan a CZ Scorpion and tell me what the fire rate is. All level 1 ammo is leg meta, yes. But then you have to start taking into consideration fire rate and accuracy into the equation to decide if it's better leg meta ammo over another like good leg meta ammo. You know what I mean? And mag size is really important too. Yeah, where the fuck is the fire rate, man? Someone scan it. Heck, someone get in VR right now. Do I have to do it? Fine, I'll get in VR and do it. If I have to die on this hill and defend my honor of S tier PSO, I'll do it. Yeah, you better believe I'm going in on the hardcore account if I got a bunch of ammo. Okay, so it's 850 RPM. 900, so still the Evo beats. Okay, so the MP9 has a bit more RPM. Extra 50. 100. 900 for the MP9N. Okay, so 900 being the max, or 850. Let's do some math then. 850. We'll just go based off of that, of a cheap Evo that we can get our hands on. We divide that by 60 because we want our DPS. We want damage per second, not damage per minute. Okay. So the guy says 14.16 rounds a second. Is that real, chat? Is it really shooting 14 rounds a second? Holy shit. Okay. 14 rounds per second multiplied by our PSO rounds, chat, which do 65 damage. You're doing, stop and think about this. You're doing 920 damage per second to the legs. You only need to do probably about, what, 65 to black the leg, and then maybe another 100 damage. We'll say 150. So you need to do like 210 damage within a short amount of time to kill someone by shooting them in the same leg, okay? Because that damage is going to radiate through the black limb, and it'll typically black the head before anything else because it's got a low HP pool at 35, right? No, it's not. No, you don't need to kill the target outright, chat. You don't need to do all the damage to all the limbs. That's not how it works. Maybe I need to explain how leg meta works. Chat, when you shoot a blacked limb, it's going to spread the damage out throughout the rest of the body. In order for someone to die, either the upper torso or the head needs to black out. You don't need to worry about the other body parts. So if it's spreading throughout the rest of the body, it's gonna black the head first, in most cases, because it has the lowest HP pool at 35. You don't need to black out and delete every limb to kill a player. It's not how it works. You understand? So with that knowledge, you might understand why leg meta is incredibly strong if you use the right flesh rounds and high fire rate. 920 damage per second is insanity. You're going to kill someone in a very, very short amount of time if you hit those shots with high flesh round ammo, okay? So, you got something to go try out, chat. You got something to try out. All right, guys, what'd you think about the ammo tier list? That concludes our ammo tier list. Give these ammos a try. Give leg meta a try. I don't see it talked about enough. It makes me wonder, well, because legs are arguably harder to hit, right, too? They're slim. You have to hit the same leg. So there is a lot of skill that is involved for leg meta to be successful, you have to hit a narrow piece of the body, right? And you have to hit that same narrow piece of the body. You can't just spray at both legs, or else you're gonna have a lot slower time to kill, because you're gonna have to, all the damage, instead of radiating through the body of a black limb, is gonna be trying to zero multiple limbs, multiple legs, before you start getting that radiation damage throughout the body. So,
my apologies for my crying about the rankings. I guess I'm just very passionate about those funny pixels in that funny VR game that do damn good to funny people. Nothing personal, of course.
Dude, you're good, you're good. I like passionate people. And you know what I love about good passion? Is the people who are passionate enough, I'm more than happy to be proven wrong. Because guess what? That makes me better. And the passionate people will sit down there and do math and get a bunch of evidence and go, look, this is way better, and here's why. And if they're good enough at it and passionate at it, it'll be infallible evidence, and I'll be like, oh shit, that's good info, bro. Good stuff. Subscribe if you think you learned something. Like it as well. Sharing it with a friend helps too. Get in there, try these strats out. Try some of my weird ammo picks that I put very high up on the list, and you might be surprised, and you might see some YouTube videos and some people complaining on Discord that leg meta is a thing, okay? But it exists in Tarkov, and it exists here, all right? So go try it out. Go try it out, guys. Like and subscribe. Hit that freaking bell. I stream on Twitch. That's where you're seeing all the Twitch chat. If you guys want to be a part of Twitch chat here, come over. Come join. You'll be in the videos. All right? If you don't use these ammo types, what are you doing?